Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. All thanks and praises due to God. We seek His help and forgiveness. We seek refuge in God from the evil within ourselves and the consequences of our evil deeds. Whoever God guides will never be led astray, and whoever God leads astray will never find guidance. I bear witness there is no God but God alone, without any partners, and I bear witness that Muhammad is God's servant and God's messenger. You who believe, be mindful of God, as is God's due, and make sure you devote yourselves to God to your dying moment. In chapter Ibrahim of the Quran 14:4 says, God lets go astray those that wills to go astray, and guides those that wills to be guided. For God alone is Almighty, truly wise. I am a Mexican immigrant and U.S. citizen. I was born in the state of Guerrero, and 3.5 hours away from Mexico City. My father owned land, and he will rent land and trade in for corn so that the people from the village will be able to harvest their own land. I am the 11th daughter in the family, and my father realized that all women in the family were not a lot of help in the ranch. So therefore, he bought land in an urban area so his daughters will go to school and be productive in life. He suspected that possibly his daughters will not find a good husband, so he prevented by sending us to school, but that way also we will not marry at the teenage stage, like 12, 13, 14 years old. That is still happening in the village. So that was an awesome decision of my father, take us out of this small town and send us to school. My mother raised me with strong Catholic beliefs. Culturally, the religion relies on the mother to be transmitted to the children. So I used to go to Catechism. Catechism is a class where we are taught the dogma of the Catholic. And Sundays, we used to go to Mass, and the Mass is the religious ceremony where the priest leads this ritual of the Mass. During Easter week, I was not allowed to listen to the music, go to the movies, and we were not allowed to eat meat on Fridays. After I finished secondary school, I moved to Mexico City, where I started preparatory school in a Catholic college. At that time, I was living with my sisters, so I started making my own decisions away from my mother, so now I was only with my sisters. So I attended Colegio Hispano-Americano. It's a private school. And on my third year of college, first of all, I didn't know what subject to do. So I decided to focus in the area of humanities and French literature. The area of humanities requires reading, a lot of reading, books, and also writing reports. And actually, I love this part because my readings were on Western literature, psychology, contemporary philosophers, Marxism, and existentialism introduced to me at that time. After 3 years, I earned my baccalaureate in arts and humanities at the College Hispano-Americano. The influence of Marxism and existentialism, feminism in France took me away from God, to the point that I didn't believe that God existed. I thought I could survive with my intellect, my readings, and my friends. Quite the contrary, it took me in a very conflicted life where I didn't know why I was in this world, what was my mission in this world, what I had to get up early morning, go to work. It was a conflicted life, these ideas on feminism and existentialism. In the middle of this confusion, going away from God, I got married in Mexico City to a man more conflicted than my life. And we had a son. I ended my university years and enrolled in a technical school. I needed to earn my own money. Fortunately, my mother was able to pay my tuition while I was going to school, even though I was married. I carried a regret for not obtaining my master's degree from a university, but I continued pursuing my own personal intellect growth. Therefore, I enrolled at the Anglo Institute, Mexican Institute of English, an institute that belongs to the British Embassy. So I studied intensive courses, and I got to the level of advanced class, and the British Embassy offered a summer class in England that I embarked because I needed to practice my English. I couldn't do it in Mexico. Nobody speaks English, so I said, this is the chance to go. So I went to England in 1982. At that time, the process of my legal divorce was going on. My trip to England was the most important event in my life. God has reserved to me the opportunity to meet 3 Muslim students from Brunei and Malaysia. Suddenly, the world opened to me. I was able to look outside from my small window of my apartment and tasted the importance of traveling as a source of cultural awareness and learning. My new friends from Brunei never talked to me about Islam. Their actions towards me got my attention. I was treated with respect, kindness, caring, and clean attitude. I never felt uncomfortable with them, even though I was traveling alone. The only question they asked me about God was whether I believe in God. And I said, yes, I do. I believe in God. And they replied to me, you are a Muslim. A word that I had never heard in my life, and I didn't follow through. I didn't ask, what is that? So I just left it in the air. I'm a Muslim. Okay. The summer English course ended, and we felt that it ended so fast. I returned to Mexico, and I had to face the lifestyle of a divorcee, a divorced woman in a country where a divorced woman is really not welcome in society. My mother supported my divorce since I did not get married by the Catholic Church. So she said, he was never your husband in the eyes of God, my mother stated. So I kept in touch with my Muslim friends by regular mail. At that time, we have no internet or the new media communication, social media that we have now. So it took a long time to receive a letter. But one of my letters, I asked my friends, how do you communicate to your God? Because I was going through difficult times. And in response, they sent to me a book called Islam in Focus. And they separated the pages on praying. So I started reading those pages that were separated from the book. I started reading. The book has the transliteration from Arabic to English. Obviously, this book was in English. So I started reading, and the transliteration sounds so hard. So I only memorized few words from this prayer. And the words that I memorized was, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from evil. And I also memorized, there is no God but God, La ilaha illallah, which are the short words. So that's the only thing I could memorize. To me, every time I mentioned these words, it was like a magic. So I called in my magic words because I obtained an immediate answer to my magic words when I was in trouble. And something happened, something good happened, and it really gave me something that I didn't know what it was. Until I came to the United States in 1983. I decided to travel here and come on a summer vacation since 1983. So I'm still on vacations till now. So I enrolled in a public adult school to continue practicing my English because I learned the British English and I needed to now practice my American English. So I met Muslim students from Turkey at the adult school in Bulgaria. I also became friends with a Muslim teacher, a convert, and I asked her to take me to a mosque since I was reading a book. And I had many questions because I had nobody in Mexico to ask. My teacher friend took me to a mosque on a Friday prayer. As soon as I stepped into the mosque, I experienced mixed feelings. One was kind of fear, and the other one was content. So little feelings that I didn't know what was happening to me, but I like it. So after that, first going into a mosque, the other striking observation was to see many men praying, prostrated on the floor and praying. I had never seen so many men praying because in my hometown or in Mexico, men don't go to church. So when I saw them praying, I said to myself, this religion must be very strong to have these men prostrating. That's beautiful. So that got my attention. Then I was informed that the mosque gives classes, Introduction to Islam, every Friday. So I started attending since that summer, '83. I attended this Introduction to Islam for 6 months. And in December 1983, I decided to embrace Islam. It was so emotional. To any new Muslim, the Shahada is very emotional. My first prayers were in tears. Tears because I found myself. And finding myself, I found God. I wouldn't say reverse. I went back to the God I knew it before, but it's the God of only punishment, but now I came back to the God of mercy and love. And it was a nice feeling. So therefore, I find this peace in my heart, and many times in my prayers, I repeat to myself, God will never leave me. I'm with God. And that was the best part. And I also, finally, I found out what was the reason of my existence. As is stated in the Quran, 51:59. A translation from Yusuf Ali says, I have only created humans that they may serve and worship me. And worshiping Allah is not only performing the 5 daily prayers and the 5 pillars of Islam, or doing the fasting and doing the Hajj, worshiping Allah is every minute of our life and actions. Every action we do must be done with the intention to please Allah only. And I'm pleasing Allah with what I'm doing. That's something that we should keep all the time in our mind. So afterwards, obviously, my family did not accept my decision. My mother thought that I was embracing a form of a cult, but she thought it was like an evil cult, not just any cult. So she went to the priest, the Catholic priest, and she asked him, "Father, my daughter said she is a Muslim. What does that mean, Father?" And the priest, in a small town, told her, "Do not worry about your daughter. She is in the right path. She's following a religion that is very ancient." That is the only thing that this priest told my mother, and she felt in peace also. She was finally knowing that I was doing the right thing, and she didn't have to worry about me. So therefore, every time a sister comes to me and tells me about the family, I would recommend, tell your family, your mom, to go to the priest, because the priests have extensive knowledge of comparative religion. They studied a lot, and they know what the basic principles of Islam is. They know it very well. Every time I visit Mexico City and my family in Guerrero, now they prepare me food with no pork. They respected me. They saw me praying, and questions will come. I did mention to my sister, I had a sister nun, and she was not accepting at all because she was blaming herself for not teaching me Catholicism enough. So she thought that she failed. And I said, "My sister, don't worry." And I read for her the Quran 5:48, where it says, "Unto every one of you we prescribe a different law and way of life. And if God had so willed it, we would have made you all one single community. But he willed it otherwise, in order to test you in what he had given you. So strive in a race in all virtues. The goal of all of you is to Allah. It is God that will show you the truth of the matters in which you dispute." So I tell my sister, you and I were going to heaven. Presently, I am married to a Lebanese husband who was born in California and whose parents immigrated to the United States from Iran more than 50 years ago. We have one son together who is the first generation of Mexican-Iranian parents and who easily traverses the cultural boundaries of Latino, Iranian, and the multicultural Muslim communities of Southern California. Is a native-born American Muslim. Islam has given me a new way of living. The more I learn about Islam, the more I strengthen my faith in the one God and Muhammad, peace be upon him, as the last messenger. I have embraced the duty of sharing my experience to the large population of non-Muslim Latino Spanish-speaking by providing them with information on Islam and forming LALMA, la Asociación Latino-Musulmana de América. Most of the Latinos living in the United States and Latin America are unaware of the legacy of Islam in our culture, language, and architecture. The Spanish language has thousands of words derived from Arabic and the architecture of the homes in which Latin America was inspired by an art form known as mudéjar style. This mudéjar style was developed by Muslims in Spain and Portugal. In Arabic, we say inshallah, and in Spanish, you say ojalá. According to the last comprehensive survey done in Southern California by Dr. Ixen Bagby in 2011, he said that the conversion of Latino Muslims or Hispanic in Southern California is extremely high at 31% of all converts compared to approximately 12% nationally. In spite of this increased Islamophobia nowadays, in my opinion, the majority of the population in our country have a good idea and opinion of Islam. I have heard comments like, there's no religion in the world that teaches to harm others. The Muslim community must increase our civil engagement activities to put in practice our faith by helping others, non-Muslims. The Muslim community, right now, nonprofit organizations are doing just that, going back and giving back to our community. I said what I said. May God forgive us, all of us. Alhamdulillah, all praises and thanks are due to God alone. Dear sisters, it's our responsibility before Allah to embrace those who come to Islam regardless of their ethnicity. Remember that God teaches us in the Quran 30:22, and among God's signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the diversity of your languages and your colors. Indeed, in that surely are signs for people of knowledge. As a new Muslim, we go through multiple As new Muslims, we go through multiple phases. One of them is idealization of the Muslim community. I thought everybody was pious and harmonious in their lives, since everyone supposedly reads Quran and has submitted to Allah and follows Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Lately, however, after I embraced Islam, I realized that a Muslim is not really nobody different than other human beings, having the same weaknesses and challenges to overcome. Racial or ethnic discrimination among Muslims is known but often ignored in our community. Several Latino Muslims have informed me that they had been told by Muslims from Arabic-speaking countries that a Latino Muslim is not considered a true Muslim because he or she is not an Arab. So this is troublesome. Male and female Latino Muslims had been rejected by the families of those born into the faith as husbands or wives simply because of their ethnicity. Through my readings and teaching of Islam, I discovered that Islam has the tools to eliminate racial discrimination because we all created equal. In the Quran, chapter An-Nisa 4:1 says, "O mankind, be conscious of your sustainer who has created you out of one living entity, and out of it created its mate, and out of the two spread abroad a multitude of men and women. And remain conscious of God, in whose name you demand your rights from one another and of these ties of kinship. Verily God is ever watchful over you. Also, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in his last sermon said, all humankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab. A non-Arab has no superiority over an Arab. Also, a white has no superiority over a black, nor a black has superiority over a white, except by piety and good actions. Learn what every Muslim is a brother or a sister to every Muslim, and that Muslims constitute one family. Sisters, let's do a self-reflection of our feelings and try to discover these discriminatory feelings against other ethnic groups, and do not look down to Mexicans, African Americans, or any other skin color. We must remember that Allah tells us in the Quran that Allah will not change the condition of a person, a family, a community, or a country unless we change our inner self. Everything starts from our inner self. Let's try to make some internal changes. Let's not prejudge when meeting somebody. Try to go beyond the physical appearance on the face, on the skin color, on the dressing. Try to go beyond that and just picture the person as a creation, as a God's creation. Eliminate the likes and dislikes and just see the beauty of Allah. We have the tools to overcome our weaknesses, disputes, and differences. We are so blessed by being Muslims. We have the guide of the Quran and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. We can influence a positive way in our immediate family, our circle of co-workers, and in general, the society. When meeting a new Muslim, be patient. Do not be judgmental. Don't judge. And do not overwhelm the new Muslim with a lot of information at once. The newcomer shouldn't be immediately downloaded with rules. Remember that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, for 13 years, he only taught worshiping one God. He only taught the Tawheed. Offer your help to one-to-one, and try to teach them how to pray, how to do the wudu, the cleansing, the ablution, how the person learn the wording of Salah in their language first, so the person will know what he or she is saying, and then the Arabic in a slow pace. Teach and offer a good translation of the Quran and the biography of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Just remember that Prophet Muhammad is new, is the new prophet to the new Muslim. We don't know much or anything about Prophet Muhammad. So if we're going to love Prophet Muhammad, we need to know who he was. We need to read his life. So offer a good translation. Also, avoid confusing the new Muslim with cultural practices and what is the teaching of Islam. Because sometimes it is mixed, and even the person doesn't know which part is cultural and which part is Islam teachings. So don't confuse them, because then the new Muslim is going to grow up with a cultural knowledge of Islam instead of the true teaching of Islam. During Ramadan, invite the newcomer to your home. Break fast with them, embrace them. Most of the times, a newcomer is alone during Ramadan. A Every time you see somebody new in the mosque, smile. If somebody comes here to this mosque, women's mosque, you know it's new. Just smile, embrace them, talk to them. It could be a newcomer, it could be somebody who's interested in Islam. Do not teach the new Muslim to be away from their families' gatherings. As Latino, Hispanic, we have a lot of gatherings, a lot of social events. Don't say, don't go. No, you encourage them to go. Dr. Fatih Osman teaches that Islam is not to take you away from your family. Quite the contrary. It's to show your family that you are a better person, better son, better human being. When your family will notice the changes immediately. And then the questions about Islam will come. So it's good to keep your family relations. God commands justice, doing good and generosity towards relatives, and he forbids what is shameful, blameworthy, and oppressive. He teaches you so that you may take heed. Waqima as-salah, perform the prayer.